Alright, so this is an example of a Java program, and this is the 2.1 exercise. Exactly, let me see. It's exercise 2.1, part of the Gaddis 2.1 lesson, parts of a Java program, and here's a download link. So you can download it, click on it, and it'll start a download. Coincidentally, I already have it on my desktop right here. So let's work on it. Exercise of this is to get the program to execute. Well, better to compile and then execute. And we basically need this sentence here to display in the command prompt. So we'll get that to work, and then we'll understand this. So for now, just understand that the main method and the class, they're in there. In this lesson, I'm not going to go into detail. There will be other lessons that cover that. In fact, I have that documented in my notes in here, so you can read this, the companion to the Gaddis book. So let's fix this up. This comment here seems very appropriate to be listed up top. Start comment, and then I'm going to put your class declaration. Have a class Columbus, open curly bracket, and then you got your closing one right there. They match. Let's clean this up. Public static void, giving it a little bit of nice formatting so to make it easier to read. Opening curly bracket. So starting logically from the top, you got your class declaration, class header, starting curly bracket, closing curly bracket, and then you got the body of the class. Then you have the main method, starting curly bracket, statements within the main method. Then you have your closing curly bracket for the main method. Alright, so let's make sure we have the syntax correctly. Public class, and the class is Columbus. And if you notice, I've saved the file, the Java file. You can see it is a Java file as Columbus, which this file matches the class name in here. So as the Gaddis book talks about, your public classes always need to match the file name, and vice versa. The file name has to match the class. Now, moving on to this, checking the syntax of this public static void main string args. Okay, that is correct. System. So this right here, this method will print out this sentence, and it actually is good to go. So we're going to save it and go to our command, and since I have it saved here on my desktop, I'm going to change directory, desktop. We've changed directory. Now I want to see what it's called. Okay, it's called columbus.java, and let's compile that. Java C for Java compiler. Then you have columbus.java. So we're going to compile the Java file, which is our source code that we're going to be compiling. We could leave it open, no problem, since it's already been saved. Compile. It's compiling, it's working on it. I apologize if my computer's a little bit slow. Okay, good. It did not throw any errors. And by what I mean throwing errors, I'll give you an example of that. First, let's check to see if the application, the Java source code, correctly compiled. And it did. And what it does, it creates a class file. So you first have your Java file, which is right here. That Java file, after it's compiled, which is going to be your bytecode, is in the class file. So if we open this one up, let's say open, yeah, sure, why not? Let's open it with Sublime Text Editor. I just want to see the contents of what's inside the class file, and it's going to be bytecode. There we go, perfect. This is bytecode. Again, this is more closer to machine language. Right now, it really does not mean anything. Well, it doesn't mean anything to a human, but to the Java virtual machine, it does. Now, the other thing that I was pointing out is that what happens when you compile, well, better said, when you try to compile something with an error in it. So let's do that. I'm making it lowercase. This is a Java keyword that I understand, that I know is going to throw an error. And then let's take out this semicolon. So this is violating the syntax of Java. So I'm saving this. Control save. Well, I could have left that open, confirming that I saved it, since the semicolon's there, is missing, and this is now lowercase. So let's compile. And I want to delete this class just so that I can recompile it, and so that it doesn't get confused. Java. Well, shortcut. There we go. Compile. It'll throw the error. There we go. One error. So it is missing the semicolon, and you can see this little caret sign, this little indicator. It's pointing at that, saying that it's missing. Hey, you're missing a semicolon. So I'm putting the semicolon back. Control S to save. And now I'm going to recompile. I'm going to try to compile once more. Okay, and what did I say? They would also throw an error for the S, violating the syntax. So string has to be capital S. Control S for saving it, and saving the file now that it's been modified. Compiling, pass. Okay, cool. I compiled it. Now I'm going to close this out because the important file is the bytecode one. Let's say we'd like to execute it. We'd like the Java runtime environment to execute this, right? So let me clear my screen, make it a little bit cleaner. We're still in the desktop directory. Okay, it's listing everything out. I'd like to execute the class one. So we have our columbus.java file right here. And we also have the class one right here. I want to execute the class one, so I execute that by typing out Java and the class file name. The important thing to remember here is that you omit the class. So I'm not typing class in there. The Java command by default knows that it's going to be executing a .class type file. So the Java command is calling on the Java runtime environment to execute some file. Now the Java runtime environment only executes a class, so the class is what has the bytecode, and that's how they're able to execute. So that stuff that I showed you in Sublime right here is going to be executing that bytecode. I apologize, I closed it out. There it is. So this right here, this machine, these bytes are going to be executed now. So let's execute them. In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So we successfully got this very basic application to execute in a Windows environment with the Java runtime environment. The Java virtual machine sits on this machine, and that is covered in a prior lesson for installing the Java runtime environment. The compiler itself is part of the Java development kit, the JDK, Java Development Kit. So this is a lesson, and it was pretty fun. You could go back to my website over here and watch the video once more, and download the link, the source code, and this is the start source code, and then I have the end source code, so you can practice with that. Have fun.